What's up guys, welcome back to AFC Game by Game. Apologies that this video is coming significantly later after the final whistle, but I just have to talk about that. 3-0 on the opening day away from home. Gabriel, fantastic debut, clean sheet and a goal. Willian, a hat-trick of assists on his debut. Can you get better than that on the opening day? I mean, winning on the opening day, in my opinion, is really tough to do because you just don't know what to expect. You don't know what to expect from the opposition. You don't know how they're going to line up, how they're going to react. And I think we did really well yesterday, and it's a really encouraging sign of things to come. And the thing that excites me most about the performance is that we were able to get that victory without Pepe in the team, without Ceballos in the team, without Saliba in the team, without Saka in the sides. I mean, we played really good football with a host of first-team players, or players that you think might be on the team sheet from the get-go, not in the team. And that's a really, really big positive for me to see Willian come in, who I think all assumed was going to be a squad player to come in and do so well and have such a big impact on the side. He's come in, and I think this is one of the big bonuses of getting a proven Premier League player. You know exactly what you're going to get, and he has quite literally hit the ground running. And if he can do that consistently, I don't expect him to get a hat-trick of assists every single game he plays. But if he's able to contribute in the build-up going forward, as he did yesterday, then he's going to be such a valuable asset to this side. And when you think that he's competing with Nico Pepe on that right-hand side, very, very good options on that right-hand side. It's very exciting to see. Then you've got Saka who can play there. Reece Nelson, so many players yesterday that didn't even get on the bench. It just shows how much depth we've got. It also highlights the fact that we do actually need to get quite a few players off the books. And I think it's going to be tough because there are a few players that I think will leave the club that maybe some people aren't going to be too pleased about. We already know that Emi Martinez is completing a £20 million move to Aston Villa. I'm very upset about that personally. I love Martinez. I love the fact that he's been at the club 10 years. Played so well in the last portion of last season, heroics in the FA Cup, and then again in the Community Shield. And now, as soon as the bid comes in, he's kind of been pushed out the door. I can understand it because, from the club perspective, Emi Martinez is £20 million that didn't exist several months ago, and the club are thinking, whilst he's playing this way, we're not going to be able to cash in on him in a year's time, for example. We might as well get him out the door now. This is money that we didn't have several months ago. But as an Arsenal fan, it's obviously devastating because I think Martinez has got so much to give the club. I think he's as good, arguably, if not better than Bernd Leno. That's not to say Leno is poor, because I think he showed exactly why he is so good and he's the choice that Arsenal decided to keep, because I think he was fantastic yesterday. Granted, didn't have a lot to do, but again, I just thought he was fantastic. And I'm not disappointed with Leno between the sticks whatsoever. I mean, I think you've got to be realistic. These are two very good goalkeepers. One of them has waited so long to play regular first-team football. And you'd think Martinez is around like the 23, 24-year-old age because he's just been at the club for so long, and you forget that he's kind of actually getting on in his career. I think he's 27, 28 years old now. So it's no real surprise that he wants to play regular first-team football. And then if you drop Leno, a player that is fighting with Neuer for the Germany #1 spot. I mean, it's a real headache because you can't keep one of them on the bench, as hard as it is to let one of them go. And although we all want to be sitting here saying, "Oh yeah, it's great to have competition," it doesn't work like that sometimes, especially in the goalkeeping position where you've got two players of such good quality. And honestly, I wish Martinez all the best because I think he deserves to play regular first-team football. He deserves to have a really good career, and I hope that he has a similar career to someone like Lucas Fabianski. I think going back about 6 odd years when we won the FA Cup final, and Fabianski was fantastic. If you remember the semi-final in the FA Cup in 2014 against Wigan, Fabianski with the penalty saves, he was unbelievable in the last part of his Arsenal career. And it's the same for Martinez. I mean, he's struggled for opportunities. He's had an opportunity now. He's raised some funds for the club, and I wish him all the best, and I hope he's able to solidify a place in that Villa team. I'm certain he will, and go on to have a career, over the next 5, 6, 7 years at the very top level in English football. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he progresses in the game. But for what he's done for Arsenal, especially in the past few months, has been fantastic. It's just a shame that we couldn't really keep that love story going. But I'm not going to talk about that any longer. I mean, there's still so many positives to come out of this Arsenal team, especially from what we saw yesterday. I mean, when you compare it to the opening day win we had against Newcastle last year, different performance, different performance. So much more exciting, really vibrant going forward. Just pressing, organisation. It was great to see, and we saw none of that at the start of last season. Yeah, we got a few wins, but they weren't good wins. I think if you look back to the start of Unai Emery's second season, It wasn't great football. It was boring. We were dominated for large spells of the game, whereas we really took Fulham by the neck, really, and dominated this game and allowed them to have very few opportunities defensively. When you consider that we didn't have David Luiz, no Mustafi, and we had a back three of Gabriel coming into the team for the first time, Rob Holding and Kieran Tierney, I thought they all performed excellently. And it was very obvious that when we were in possession, it switched to a back four. And this kind of fluid 3-4-3 into a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 seems to be working really well for this group of players. And I love the fact that our wing backs can push on, and you've got someone like Willian who practically doubles up as a fullback when Bellerin goes forward. I mean, I saw a lot of criticism for Bellerin leaving our right-hand side exposed, but I think he's being allowed to do that because you've got Willian covering him, and I think those two really complemented each other on the right-hand side yesterday. Bellerin, he's been linked with a move away to PSG. I think it'd be a huge loss if we did get rid of him, and I don't think we should, because I think mixed opinions on him yesterday, but I thought he was fantastic. I think that there are some really good things to come from Hector Bellerin. His burst going forward, he definitely seems to be faster. I think he's coming out the back of that horrible injury he had now, and I just think he's such a good asset to this team. I think if we lost him, I think you'd really struggle to find a player of his quality or better. I really don't think you're going to find a better right back than Hector Bellerin at the moment, and I think assuming that Maitland-Niles will come in and do a job at right back, I'm not sure. I'm really happy with Suarez and Bellerin on that right-hand side. And on the left-hand side, having the options of Tierney, Saka, Maitland-Niles. I think these are all really good options to have. And Maitland-Niles, who kind of tucks in as another midfielder. I mean, he played a big part in the Aubameyang goal. If you look at that run he made, he's a very intelligent footballer. And I know there was some criticism his way yesterday. And it's balmy that we're criticising players when we won 3-0, but it just shows how much we analyse the games these days. I think that I do want to talk about the players that don't really get too much of a look in the Arsenal team. Rob Holding, who's been actually quite a consistent figure recently, and obviously was linked away with that move to Newcastle, is not the type of player that someone like Gabriel is, for example. His distribution is limited, but what he did do yesterday was kept his game simple, and I think that's all he can do. And he is. This is the thing with players like Rob Holding, El Neni, etc. These bit part players, I'm actually not too worried about the personnel that starts Arsenal games anymore, because I'm very confident that whoever starts, whether it be El Neni, Ceballos, Rob Holding, Callum Chambers, whoever, these players that don't always get a look in, I'm really confident Arteta is going to get the best out of those players in these games, in these situations. And we all know that they're limited as individuals, but when they come in as a collective, I actually think they do really, really, really well. And maybe towards the latter stage of Arsene Wenger's career or under Emery, like when we played Crystal Palace at home, when we had Mavropanos, El Neni, Cole Jenkinson, Guendouzi starting that game, I'm 95% certain Arteta would not have lost that game with those players had he had only those options available. I don't think Arteta would have made those dreadful team selection mistakes that Emery did at that point in his career. But also, if he did have that team available to him, Arteta would have done better, if that makes any sense whatsoever. It's a strange comparison, but I'm sure you know what I mean. Arteta is very good at getting the best out of everyone. And yeah, I mean, Lacazette scored yesterday, away goal for him, struggled for them last season. He's a confidence guy, great goal for him. Another one has been linked with a move away, but I thought he was fantastic. Ceballos was brilliant when he came on. Aubameyang with that trademark finish. Yeah, you just can't really ask for much more. I thought the squad was absolutely fantastic. We played some really, really good football. Gabriel getting a debut goal, Willian with a fantastic corner. We've missed them for some time now, and just so many options in the team, so much excitement, and I'm very, very, I'm feeling ambitious about what this Arsenal team can achieve. Yeah, it's Fulham away. Okay, I mean, they're a struggling Fulham side. They're going into the Premier League with a new manager, Scott Parker, who I think actually did quite well with them towards the back end of last season. And I like the style of football they're trying to adopt. It's quite similar to what we're trying to do in a way at a lesser level, but I've got a lot of admiration for what Scott Parker is trying to achieve with that team. I do fear for them. I do think they've got a squad that isn't capable of staying in the Premier League as it currently stands. But yeah, I mean, winning away from home in the Premier League is never an easy thing to do, and we've done it very convincingly. And next up, we've got West Ham, who just lost 2-0 to Newcastle. If we could get another 3-0 win, I mean, another clean sheet and a potentially 6-goal difference. I mean, I'd take a 1-0 or a 2-0 win against West Ham so long as we still play well. I think that'd be a brilliant start to the season, and we've struggled for starts to the season. I mean, maybe not results-wise last year, but this year, having the performances to back up the results, that's what we really need to instill confidence in this side. But everyone's firing on all cylinders at the minute. And special mention to El Neni, I think, because I know he's a player that a lot of people have got hugely mixed opinions on, and I think we're all very aware that he's a player that's limited. But what I do like about El Neni is he does give 100%. And his interview, I think he's a character. If you watch his interview after the game yesterday, he does come across as a real character, a player that is very motivating. And yeah, he's not got the distribution of someone like Granit Xhaka, but he keeps things ticking over. And I think a lot of people are like, we need to upgrade on El Neni, we need to upgrade on him. For who? I mean, who are we going to get in that's happy to sit on the bench, that's happy to come in for a game against the likes of Fulham, against the likes of West Ham, and do a job and see out the game? There's not really many players that are better than El Neni that are going to be happy to do that. And El Neni, I mean, he's talking after the game to saying that he wants to be starting week in, week out, and I think that's going to be hard when you've got Xhaka and Ceballos in the midfield. And then if we do bring in the likes of Partey, then El Neni's position is going to be really, really up for grabs. But whilst he's playing here and now, I mean, he was great in the Community Shield, did a job yesterday. He's not electrifying. He's not on the level of someone like Granit Xhaka, who I thought was excellent yesterday, my man of the match personally. But he's a good squad player, and that's all he is for me. And if Arteta's got faith in him, now I've got faith in him. As I say, I've got so much faith in Arteta to bring the best out of maybe slightly average players. No disrespect to El Neni, but he is so good at bringing the best out of players that maybe aren't at the level that we necessarily need. And that's what I love about Arteta. He's so motivating. He's such a character. And I'm excited about what we can do this season. I'm not saying we're going to win the league, but I do think we've got a squad that is so close to challenging for top four. One or two more signings and I think we're there, but we need to get rid of a few players as well. The likes of Socrates, no idea what's going on with Mesut Ozil. Guendouzi, I mean, we're seeing him back in training, but he's not in the team yesterday. I don't know. I mean, I think we all know the players we need to get rid of there. I mean, there's players like Mustafi, Chambers. What's going to happen with them? I'd keep one of those two. The other one I'd use to raise funds with. But let's see. It will be an interesting couple of weeks in the transfer market. But let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments box below. Drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. And as always, I'll speak to you very, very soon, guys. I'll see you later.